Early in 2011, I received a call from a British publisher. He said he wanted to offer me a very strange opportunity, a strange project. And it was that Julian Assange had been contracted by many publishers around the world to write his memoirs, and he wanted to work with a writer, and they had decided that I might be that writer. I was very doubtful at first. I'd never done any work like that before, and certainly hadn't expected the call, but I had always abstractly been interested in the notion of ghosting. In some ways, I think ghosting is a very central form of writing rather than a marginal or simply commercial arrangement. I think in a sense all novels are ghost-written. In a sense all poetry is ghost-written. I don't really believe it's all just an effusion from a personality called the author who's writing about him or herself. I've always been interested in the taking on of voices. I mean, that great stalwart of Faber and Faber, T.S. Eliot, once wanted to call the wasteland in its original form, "They do the police in different voices." And that notion of doing people in different voices has always been quite exciting in the literary arena, to me certainly. So ghosting was an attractive idea if it was going to be the right person. And for me, the right person would necessarily be somebody who was at the centre of a big story. No one could have foreseen in 2011 that the Assange story was going to become deeper and darker as time went on, but it was a story that I wanted to stick with. I mean, he fell out with his publishers, his agents, his representatives, his lawyers, but I stuck around, as a writer should, to try and see how this very original and very striking and very intelligent individual would negotiate his way out of the conundrums that he'd found himself in, the traps almost that he'd set for himself. And there was a big honeymoon period at the beginning of my relationship with Assange where I really felt incredibly empowered and engaged with the work that Wikileaks was doing. I mean, I still do feel engaged with the work that they're doing, in the sense that speaking truth to power is an instinct that every area of the media and every individual journalist should have. So that work has been strong work, but its strength perhaps has been, well, we could say inflected, we might say complicated, by the person of Julian Assange himself. I think that Assange has been a mightily confusing force for Wikileaks, but also in the whole public debate about power in government and journalism. So as a writer, finding myself in the unprecedented situation of being in a house with him for all those months, having access to not only the thought processes, but the daily business and his own story of how he read his past. That was all crucial stuff for the telling of this story. Of course, part of the irony I discovered in all of this was that Julian Assange, the great enthusiast for revealing other people's secrets, couldn't quite bear his own. And that there started the opening chapter, if you like, in my book, The Secret Life, looking at Assange as a man of his time, really, but also a man on his own, a man on the run. And for me, it became a very unexpected journey as a writer, to start off trying to help somebody straighten their sentences and to end up examining that person from every angle. And I was in this position to, thanks to his original invitation, to come and interview him and spend that time with him.